CQ, CQ, CQDX, CQ, CQ, CQDX, CQDX, CQDX on 12. Here is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, calling DX on 12. Okay, 7 with Foxtrot, 7 with Foxtrot. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot. My name is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo. I'm in the southeast of England, about 20 kilometres southeast of the city of London. I'll give you a report on the next over and also some technical details. So the station with 7 ending Foxtrot, please go ahead.
About 30 kilometers south of Gallipoli City on the Ionian Sea. Report for you 59 with a rather big speed. In this moment my condition work is a transceiver India Charlie 751. India Charlie 751. In this moment I repair this radio, then I test this radio on air. Microphone back to you, Mark. Mike 0, Juliet Charlie, Foxtrot, Italy, Kilo 7, India, Whiskey, Foxtrot, right?
Yeah, Italy, Kilo 7, India, Whiskey, Foxtrot. I think you said your name was Sereko. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. But your signal today is at 5 and 7, peaking 5 and 7. And with the QSB, you are dropping to 5 and 5. Your repaired transceiver, your IC751, actually sounding very good. Nice audio and sounding like you've made a good repair there. I'm using another old transceiver. I'm using the Yaesu Fox Tango 757 Golf X-Ray. I'm using just 50 watts, 50 watts, maybe 75 watts peak on 12 meters. And my antenna is a 5/8 wave vertical, so a very simple antenna. And give you Whiskey X-Ray today. It's raining, very, very English weather. It's raining, grey clouds and rain. Back to you, sir. ISK7 IWF M0 JCF.
Roger, Mark. I'm very happy that you run with the Fox Tango 757 Golf X-Ray 2. Is one of my transceiver, old transceiver, okay. Also in extremely southeast of Italy at this moment, the weather is like UK. English weather. Because in this moment, rain. The temperature is about 17 degrees. In this moment, a little wind from north and rain in this moment. Okay, Mark. Thank you for the contact. Nice to meet you for the first time on 12 meters. And I hope to work again with you on another band. I give to you all the best for your family and good luck for your calls on 12 meters. 73 Mark, Mike 0, Julia Charlie Foxtrot, Italy, Kilo 7, India, Whiskey, Foxtrot. Ciao, Mark.
Yeah, IK7 IWF M0 JCF returning for the final. Absolute pleasure to speak to you today and very pleased that you have that radio working. It works very, very well indeed. So very nice to speak to you. And likewise, if you hear me again, please do say hello. And I look forward to working you, especially on a different band. I say grazie mille, amigo mio. And arrivederci, ciao.
Ciao, arrivederci, Mark. Next time, catch you soon. Ciao.
Grazie. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, southeast of England. Yeah, Victor Echo 2, Victor Alpha Tango, sounding nice and loud. Not a big signal, but audio very, very good. The name this side is Mark, Mike, Alpha, Romeo, Kilo, and I'm in the southeast of England, about 15 miles southeast of the city of London, the capital city. I'll give you a proper report and I'll give you some tech details on the next over. Victor Echo 2, Victor Alpha Tango, M0 JCF.
And you do, you have excellent modulation, so it does all the work. And you're fine when you install it working well, so no problem. The name is John, Juliet Oscar Hotel November. I am located in the south central part of the province of Quebec. Yourself?
Yeah, QSL John, and yeah, I'll give you a 5 and 3. You're peaking 5 and 3 to me today, John, from the southern Quebec, and sounding nice. I do have a Santiago 2 noise floor on 12 meters, and when you're above Santiago 2, you're sounding beautiful. When you reach the noise floor, it does become a little bit difficult. Maybe a radio 4, but consistent throughout around the 3, so it's not a problem. The radio that I'm using is an old Yaesu Fox Tango 757 Golf X-Ray, just running 75 watts on 12 meters, and the antenna is a 5/8 wave vertical, so a very simple antenna for the band. And the microphone is a desk microphone from the late 70s. It's a Ham Master 4200 desk microphone. They were marketed under many names such as Leeson, Ham Master, etc., and very, very popular with the CB radio fraternity in the 70s and 80s. Very popular indeed. So I wired this one up to the Yaesu yesterday and decided to try it, and obviously the audio is working well because everybody telling me the audio is working well, John. Back to you, VE2 VAT M0 JCF.
Okay, very good, Mark. Yeah, it is working good there. Excellent, excellent audio there. Well, here I'm using a Kenwood Tango Sugar 590, pushing about 100 watts. And I'm also using a CB microphone. It's an Astronet 575M-6. It's a ceramic amplified microphone there. It's a hand microphone. And, well, it's a good start to a small D104 here. And the antenna here is a X-beam, about 10 meters off the ground and pushing around 100 watts. There, QSL?
Yeah, QSL with the static microphone, very popular indeed, and sounding good, especially for DX. It sounds like it's got a good tone for long distance SSB. The TS590, I know the radio very, very well. I had one until last year, maybe the year before. I sold it and bought an IC 7300. Now, I don't think the IC 7300 is as good as the Kenwood because I'm a big Kenwood fan, but it does have more, because it's an SDR radio. It has more features for me, especially when conditions are very noisy on the lower bands. But yeah, the 590, beautiful, beautiful machine, and I think really worth hanging on to. You know, I do have a small regret for selling mine, but then having said that, I have several Kenwood Trio radios, including a Tango Sierra 830 Sierra Hybrid, which is by far one of my favourite radios. Unfortunately, very slightly broken at the moment, and this particular FT-757 I actually bought 2 weeks ago. I've only had it 2 weeks, and it's about my 7th one, John. So what I do is I buy them, I get them working, and then when I'm bored I sell them, generally just as another one comes up for sale. And that's how I operate. I like to run old equipment in general and just mess around. That part of the hobby interests me as much as the talking, John. Back to you.
Okay, very good. Yeah, the 757 was a very, very popular radio in the back then, and they are good radios, right? Anyways, yours is sounding great there. Yeah, it's okay, yeah, for the 590. Yeah, I like it a lot. I have the choice between 7300 from ICOM because I was an ICOM, I used to have an ICOM 718 and I'll always have ICOM radios, but this one is like the last radio that doesn't have touch screen stuff and things like that, so that's why I bought this one because I'm more of an old-fashioned guy there, QSL.
Yeah, QSL, and I understand fully. You know, the 590 is very good. I used to enjoy the DSP on my one. I found it very, very effective at noise reduction under difficult conditions. And as you say, no touchscreen. I mean, it does have a lot of sub-menus on each button and control. So long as you know what you've set in the hidden menus, I think they perform fantastic. If you check out my QRZ page, John, you will see that, you know, old radios is what I've been collecting the last few years. I retired 15 months ago. And what I did before I retired, I bought a big bunch of old broken transceivers that really nobody wanted, so you get them cheap and you get them free, and I stored them away in my garage, which is where I am now. And the idea was that when I retired, I would not have to use any more money to buy the radios and literally just repair what I have, sell once they're repaired, and then buy another one and ad infinitum. So the hobby has almost become quite free for me to swap radios around. You know, you buy them cheap, you make them work, and then you sell them for maybe a small profit so you can buy the next radio. That's how I'm operating at this time there, John. Back to you. Yeah, John, an absolute pleasure. And when you hear me on 12 and 10 meters, running under 100 watts on old equipment, please come and say hello and tell me if you've managed to find any of those hidden menus on the 590 that have really surprised you. It'd be quite interesting to see how you get on in the future once you really start to rev that baby up. But John, you're peaking 5 and 4 to me with QSB down to about a 4 and 2. So there you go. You know, the hex beam's working well, probably doing all of the hard work in both directions as well. 73, old friend, and take care until the next time. I say best wishes to the whole family. Bye bye for now. VE2 VAT M0 JCF is clear. 73 QRZ, this is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox, southeast of England. I think I have a kilowatt 8 India. Apologies if I've got that wrong, but I'll go for now with kilowatt 8 India. You was about a 5 and 3, just above my noise floor today. The name this side is Mark, that's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm 15 miles southeast of the city of London. Let's see if we've got that call sign correct. Back to you, kilo 8 India. This is M0 JCF. Yes, my call is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. As I say, you're 5 and 3. It's just marginal with my local Q on Mexico. Back to you. Yeah, thanks for the 5 and 4, Jeff, in Virginia. And I've corrected that call sign, November 8, India, India. It sounds familiar, Jeff. I think we may have worked before, maybe on 10 metres. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I say you're peaking 5 and 3 to me today. I'm using old radios today, Jeff. I'm using a Yaesu Fox Tango 757 Golf X-Ray. I'm using just 75 watts, so below its maximum power, 75 watts on 12 meters, into a 5/8 wave vertical antenna. So old and very simple today, Jeff. Back to you.
With this 1 boy, it's a very annoying noise here from the power line. It's much better on 10 meters than it is on 12, so I tend to spend more time on 1 2.
Yeah, Roger, Roger. Corrected the location as West Virginia. I think you said 65 miles northwest of Washington, D.C. At that point, just after that point, your signal dropped to about a 3 and 2 in my noise floor. And the power lines isn't my problems. Where I have my noise on 10 and 12 meters is about this time in the afternoon. A neighbour nearby has something that's on an automatic switch that switches on and causes me the Santiago 2 to 3 noise floor. I've questioned my neighbours. Everyone denies that they've got a problem, and you know, it's just something I've got to live with. And because the signals today are quite marginal from the west, it does cause me a few problems, but it's not the end of the world, Jeff. We've got you in the logbook today, and if you can still hear me, I'll give you the Whiskey X-Ray today. Whiskey X-Ray, it's grey, it's cold, and it's raining. That's about it from the southeast of England. Back to you. Don't listen, do they? They don't listen to see who's nearby. Yeah, N8 IIM0JCF returning. Jeff, I got part of that. I know you were telling me about the snow on the driveway melting. I'm pretty sure that was it. But somebody has come up very, very close to this frequency. I'm on 967, so they're probably on 965 or 970. And they're giving me a QR Mexico of now Santiago 5 when they key up and speak. So it's now absolutely wiping out your signal. I could go and ask them to move, but you know, life's too short for arguments. I may have to move myself. So Jeff, on that note, I'll cut it short there, not because I want to, but really because of necessity. Unless that person moves, this frequency is going to be just about unusable for me now, unless I have some really really strong signals coming in. But I do appreciate the effort that you put in today, and I do appreciate the patience at the beginning when I was getting everything about your call sign, etc. wrong. But can I wish you now, if you can hear me, Jeff, a very, very best 73, and I'll say look forward to the next time that we speak, and hopefully at that point you'll be telling me the snow is completely gone and that the flowers are pushing their way up through the dirt and the grass. But until then, I wish you very best 73 to the family also, and say take care and good luck, old friend. N8II, this is M0 JCF listening for any final. Yeah, sorry, Jeff, being wiped out by the QR Mexico from nearby. It's very difficult to hear you. Back to you. Jeff, one last thing. If you've got a frequency on 10 meters that you would like to try, if you would like to try 10 meters, I'm willing to give that a go. There's no guarantees that somebody won't be interfering with me there, but if you have a preferred frequency for 10 meters, maybe way up the band before 29 megahertz, we could give that a go. I'm willing to try that if you'd like. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. 73s, and you have a fantastic day and a great evening later on as well. It was an absolute pleasure to speak to you, and hopefully you'll catch me on 10 meters in the near future. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, southeast of England, going QRT. This frequency is clear for use. The frequency is clear for use.
I'll pick back up if this is one still here. TOZDX, this is November 4 Whiskey Foxtrot uniform.
Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Good afternoon, Barry.
Hey, Mark. I guess I must have accidentally got too close to you. I listened and asked several times if the frequency was in use. I didn't hear anyone. And then as soon as I started the QSO, you started splattering on me. So I apologize if I closed in on you, over.
Yeah, no problem, Barry. We were actually talking. Do you know what, Barry? I think I actually thought it was possibly a European station, a Clace European station. I've been having lots of strong signals from anywhere, from Finland right down to Bulgaria and Italy today. And I just assumed that somebody had come up quite close, and on the short skip, they weren't hearing me. I was actually talking to November 8, India, Jeff in West Virginia, and we heard you up, and I said to him, somebody's close by, and yeah, your signal was actually Santiago 5 versus his Santiago 3. So at that point, I thought, as I said to Jeff, you know, I don't like to, you know, to travel around and the band and say, oi, listen, you're on my frequency. I just tend to say, you know, I'm going QRT, and then what I do is I move up the band, down the band, or to a completely different band. I'm like that. I'm too old now to worry about finding people, that sort of thing. But it's always a pleasure to speak to you, Barry. I'm pleased it was you and wasn't someone else. Back to you, Barry.
Yeah, very good, Mark. And by the way, you're about 5 and 7 here at the moment. And I guess the West Virginia station was in my skip zone, and when I was listening on both sides of this frequency, I didn't hear him. And when I came here and asked 3 times, it was in
if the frequency was in use, no one responded, so I thought I had a clear frequency, and then when I started first QSO, I was talking with Liam over in North Ireland, Mike India 0 Romeo Zulu Alpha, and on his first transmission, he started splattering over him, and I said, uh-oh, I got too close to somebody without realizing it, so my apologies. I just didn't hear the West Virginia station, and no one answered me when I asked if the frequency was in use. I was just trying to find a clear one, and as soon as I realized it, I told Liam that I had to move, but then I tuned up and heard you going QRT, so I said, well, I guess if he's going QRT, I'll go back to this frequency.
Well, you know, Barry, 12 metres is such a small band, and, you know, suddenly it's becoming very popular. I think it's because, you know, everyone's on 10 metres and 20 metres, and it can get very crowded despite those bands being quite wide. And, you know, we've got in the SSB section, I suppose about 25 kilohertz of space, if that. So, you know, it's always difficult to find a piece of real estate on 12. But today, Barry, I'm slightly different from when I've spoken to you before. I'm using an FT-757 Golf X-Ray, but this one I've only had 2 weeks. I bought it along with the FC757 Auto Tuner. And both working very, very well indeed. The 757GX is a little bit off frequency, but I compensate for that. That's no problem. And I'm just running 75 watts today into a 5/8 wave vertical antenna. And the microphone, it's a Handmaster 4200. It's like late 70s vintage desk microphone. Very, very popular with the CBers back in the late 70s, early 80s. In fact, throughout the 80s onwards, and that's the setup I'm using today. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. As I say, you know, when I hear other people come very close, and I sometimes blame myself, Barry, because I was in between 2 sort of spot frequencies, you know, 965 and 970, and there I was in the middle, and thinking, you know, 2.5 kilohertz is quite marginal to be away from what are very popular type of spot frequencies. So I blame myself. I don't blame anyone else. And as you say, you actually then went quiet, and the station actually in West Virginia actually said, I think the QR Mexico's gone now. Well, at that point I'd made my decision, and it was only I thought, I wonder who that is, and nudged the dial backwards slightly, and there you was. But Barry, always a pleasure to speak to you. I'll just give you the idea of what's happening this side of the pond today. It's grey, it's cold, it's raining, it's wet, it's damp, it's horrible. It's February. What else do we expect? I'm just hoping that you and yours are nice and safe and warm at the moment. N8 WFU M0 JCF.
Okay, very good, Mark. Well, just come on over for a visit. You'll love it here. We had a little over an inch of rain over the last day or so, but that's moved out now, and I see sunshine coming through the windows, and it was a bit breezy, but that'll be okay because it'll dry things off, as long as it doesn't get too high winds and start toppling trees over on the power lines and so forth. We'll be good. But 11 degrees centigrade right now, and nice sunshine coming through the window, so I'll reach you some, Mark. But yeah, the 757 sounds good. In fact, that's the same setup that I sold to a friend of mine. I guess it's been 6 months or so ago. I had a 757GX that I used for over 30 years, and I had the auto tuner with it, and the matching power supply with the speaker built in front of it, the heavy-duty power supply, and I had upgraded. I have 2 more HF rigs here. I've got this 101 DXA that I'm talking on, and my backup is a Kenwood TS2000. I just didn't see any need to keep any more rigs sitting around, so I sold him that when he was just getting into HF, and I sold him that and a G5 RV to go with it to get him on the air, and the bug bit him, and he decided to pick up. I talked him into a log periodic that I found a real good deal on down about 2 hours drive away from us. We went and picked that up and put a timer up in his yard, and now he's racking up the contacts, Mark. Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot from November 4, Whiskey Foxtrot uniform, and your rig sounds great, Mark. Over.
Yeah, thanks. N4WFU. Sorry, I wrote down N8WFU and might have referred to that an over ago, but I've just made a correction there. Apologies for that, Barry, giving you a new call sign. Yeah, you know, the 757GXs, this is the 7th one that I've owned in about 6 years. You know, they were so popular back in the 1980s. And, you know, this one, I was very, very surprised. I went to use it on the 60 meter band, 5 megahertz, just after I bought it. And I thought, wow, no output. I've got absolutely no output on 60 meters. So then the penny dropped and I went to the 11 meter band. I went to 27 megahertz and keyed up a CW tone there. And of course, no output whatsoever. And that's when the penny dropped that this radio, now it may be that somebody's put it back, but this radio doesn't look like it's ever been used as a CB radio, 11 meter radio. You know, they were so popular for that back in the 1980s because, you know, to modify them, to open them up, it's just a flick of a switch inside. No wires, no diodes, no soldering, no cutting. And, you know, it was so easy that, you know, they were just widebanded and that was it. No one ever bothered to put them back. And of course, back then there was, I don't think there was a 60 meter band allocation because we were already into the walk bands after walk 79. So, you know, those bands are obviously on the radio. So it was just quite refreshing to get a radio that looks like maybe possibly I'm the second owner, but it is the only 757 I've ever bought that has never had the switch flicked inside. And I still haven't done it yet. I still haven't used it on 60 meters, but you know, I'm in no rush. But of course, what everyone did back then, Barry, is they used them on frequency modulation at 100 watts and then had overs of like 5 minutes long and then wondered why, you know, it stopped working or it went low output, and you find all of the low pass filter coils are cooked to death, etc. So, you know, there is a possibility that this one was widebanded, it was used and abused and then was flicked back at some point. But knowing the source that it come from, I say it's possible that I'm the second or third owner and it's only been owned by, you know, an amateur radio operator. I don't know. It's pure speculation and assumption, but it's nice to speculate and assume when you think you've got yourself a bit of a bargain. And this was cheap. Along with the tuner, it was cheap. But there you go. Anyway, Barry, you were calling, and I'm sure there's a queue coming up behind now that your voice has been on air for a while, and I'm sure that there are people there that want to rag chew with you as well. As I say, I was going QRT. I was going to hang up the microphone for the day and go and do something else. So with that, I will wish you a very, very best 73. Always a pleasure to speak to you. We've got quite a few contacts now on 12, and in fact I have heard you on 10 and 15 meters, but you've always got a big queue of people waiting to say hello. So I haven't bothered, but I must make the effort next time to sit in the queue and get you logged on at least 10 and 15 meters. And I have spoken to people that know you radio wise. They know you, I think, from a 40 meter band net that maybe you run or that you're on. So it sounds like you're a very popular operator, Barry. Anyway, I'm going on and on of one of those long overs. It's just good job we're not on FM. Barry, I'll hand it to you for a final and I'll let you have the frequency all to yourself and to manage your daily pile-up. November 4, Whiskey Foxtrot uniform. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox, wishing you a very happy 73 and a good evening.
Okay, very good, Mark. And once again, I apologize. It was not my intent to run you off the frequency. As soon as I realized I had goofed, I signed off with the fellow I was working and told him I had to go find another frequency. But then as I was tuning by you, I heard you saying you were going to QRT, so I came back. My apologies. I didn't know you were there. And I did what I could to make sure the frequency was clear before I started and then realized I had goofed. So, sorry about that once again. And, yeah, I switch gears, Mark. I get into some rag shoes sometimes. I do some quick DX work and sometimes just switch gears according to what's there. But most of the time when I call CQ12, I end up with a pile up and I try not to just give a signal report and move on. I try to exchange a little bit of information with people, but there's usually so many waiting. I try not to spend too long with each one. But there's some chaps I get into contact with. There's some there in the UK and some down in Australia that love to carry on, and I have been known to sit 2 hours talking to one person, so it doesn't bother me either way. I'm not really a contester, but I do enjoy working a lot of new places, and I look up a lot of places that I work and try to learn a little bit about them. They tried to teach me back when I was in school, but I just didn't have much interest in Denmark, and but now that I'm talking to these places, I enjoy looking up and learning a little bit about some of these small countries. Anyway, thanks very much for a nice contact, and yeah, jump in anytime, regardless of what band I'm on. I'm very active from 10 to 80. I don't do 6 much, and I don't do 160 at all. And I have been on 60, but I didn't find anything there that I was particularly looking for. So I don't usually go on 60, though I have the capability. I don't usually end up there. I usually end up on one of the upper bands. Anyway, thank you very much, and hope you have a wonderful evening. All the best to you and yours. Mike, I try to operate appropriately, Mark, but it seems like very often I try not to be like those folks that come in and try to crowd me off of a frequency after I've already established myself. They'll come on 2 hours after I've been on frequency and move in right next to me and try to drive me off. And I'll grow roots and then stay there as long as it takes to make sure they know they can't do that. Anyway, take care. Talk to you later. Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox from November 4, Whiskey Foxtrot uniform. Cheers, Mark. Thanks so much.
You're always welcome, Barry, and an absolute pleasure. Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox is now clear. Back to you, Barry. Bye-bye.
Okay, QRZDX, this is November 4, Whiskey Foxtrot uniform. Hey, Ray, Mike 0 Florida Alpha Kilo from November 4, Whiskey Foxtrot uniform, about 5 and